Saeb Erekat was a man with an increasingly impossible mission, but one from which he never shied away. He was the head of the PLO's Negotiations Affairs Department for decades, in charge of finding common ground with Israel that would lead to a peace agreement and to a two-state solution.
This is the only way to save the lives of Israelis and Palestinians. Please, let us stop scoring points. Let us stop finger pointing. Let us go to sanity, wisdom, and courage, and come back to the negotiating table immediately with no conditions whatsoever, because at the end of the day, we have recognized the state of Israel's existence. It's up to you to take the high ground.
Born in Jerusalem and educated in the US and the UK, Erekat joined the Fatah political party, growing close to its charismatic founder and leader, Yasser Arafat. Considered a hardliner at first, Erekat gained the respect of those who sat across from him.
Saeb Erekat is a man of peace, always has been a man of peace, a man that I trust, a man that I respect. That's the good news. The bad news is that Saeb Erekat does not call the shots.
Erekat was a critical part of the Oslo Accords, when ending the Israeli-Palestinian conflict seemed an achievable, even imminent goal. But as the years passed and breakthroughs became sporadic, Erekat found himself with little common ground to stand on between Israelis and Palestinians, and their leaders who deeply distrusted each other, Benjamin Netanyahu and Mahmoud Abbas. But Erekat never moved from his goal, even as it grew more distant.
My option is two states. I may be in the minority. I'm being criticized heavily by sticking to the two-state solution. But I know in history that I read and teach and write and so on, that if we want to have a solution, we must have a negotiated solution between us and the Israelis. And if we don't help ourselves as Israelis and Palestinians, that means this will be translated in the blood of my children and their children. And nobody else will do it for us.
When President Donald Trump unveiled the White House's plan for Middle East peace, it was soundly rejected by the Palestinians and the Arab world. Erekat and the Palestinian leadership wanted no part of Trump's vision.
President Trump is busy inviting Netanyahu, Gantz, so the three of them can determine my future. They can decide what's best for me, and they want to dictate on me. Actually, what we hear about Jerusalem being Israel's capital, dropping the refugee issue, security, borders, it cannot even be called the deal of the century. It is the fraud and the hoax of the century.
But within months, Erekat would find himself on the outside looking in as Israel normalized agreements with first the United Arab Emirates and weeks later with Bahrain. He kept arguing stridently for the importance and necessity of a two-state solution. It was his most important mission, one that remained unfulfilled in his lifetime.